If you didn't already know, version 1.1 is going to be giving us 3 different characters, one being Silverwolf, the other being Luocha, and then coming with Luocha's banner is going to be Yukong. Now Yukong is going to be our #1 target for today when it comes to what we're talking about, and I'm going to just go ahead and say this: Yukong is going to be a must-have and also must-build character for everyone in their account. Now, one thing I'm going to say before we even start this video is that Yukong is going to be free. It doesn't matter if you summon for Luocha or not, you will end up getting Yukong free in version 1.2. So even if you don't plan on summoning on Luocha's banner, this video is still helpful to you because she is going to be a free-to-play unit very soon. Now, I'm not 100% sure if they announced it or not, because I do know it's coming in version 1.2, but I don't know in what form or fashion, because it could be limited and it could be a permanent type event, because if it is limited, then only people playing at the beginning of the game or version 1.2 are going to have her. If it is permanent, which I think it should be, because she is currently our only version of an imaginary unit that is accessible to free-to-play players, then it might come from a story event or something in that nature. So today we're going to be talking about Yukong, all that she does, and why she's going to be so strong. Now, before we get into the video, I do want to say, if you're enjoying the Honkai Star Rail content, make sure to leave a sub and a like on the video, because over 80 to 90% of y'all that watch the videos are not subbed, and I just want to see that percentage go down just a little bit more. But other than that, let's go ahead and start talking about Yukong and why she is so strong. Now, talking about her kit, of course, for her basic attack, it's just going to be a normal basic attack. She does have a bow, so being able to snipe out or hit enemies from a range is going to help out a little bit when it comes to overall grinding. But talking about her real important things, which is going to be her skill, her ult, and her technique. When it comes to her skill, she's going to be giving you 2 stacks of a buff. Now, these 2 stacks are going to be raising all allies attack by a certain percentage, and whenever an ally ends up attacking, you will lose one of those stacks. So this will stay up for however many attacks, which is 2, and with Eidolons you might get more, I'm not 100% sure. But those 2 stacks are going to be giving you the attack boost until you use 2 attacks. So use them wisely if you can in any way possible. But yes, you are going to be using 2 stacks with this skill. Now, for her ultimate, you are going to be doing single target damage, and it can be enhanced if you have the buff on still, without using all of them, of course, when you're buffing your whole team out. So this could be helpful in shredding those imaginary shields, which is going to be really good in certain types of teams, which we're going to talk about in a quick second. But another thing is that when she does have stacks on her ult, she's actually able to boost crit rate and crit damage if you have a stack and you end up using your ult. Now, that seems like a lot of conditions, but at the same time, that buff is worth it if you do have to apply all of those conditions at the same time, because having crit rate buff is absolutely insane already, just because crit rate can be hard to come by. Crit damage not so much, in all honesty, because it's the crit rate you're really wanting to strive for, because that is the amount of consistency that you're going to need to have to be able to crit as much as possible. And having crit rate buff and crit damage buff, that is just a whole different story with how strong it comes to being a support character, because currently Bronya is the only one that can buff crit damage, and she's also able to give you a turn in attack. Asta can help with speed and attack, Tingyun can help with attack, and also Pella can do defense shred. So the way Yukong is structured, she's going to be, of course, one of these stronger units in the game. Not as strong as Bronya, in all honesty. Not that I think. Of course, I could be wrong depending on how much crit rate boost is going to be. But she is definitely going to be near the top of the list when it comes to buffing up characters or being a support character as a whole, because that limitation of having 2 buffs only, or having 2 stacks of that buff, might put her down a little bit, but we'll see when she comes out. So she does have an insane kit. But overall, why is she important to your account and why she is a must build? Well, as I said before, imaginary units aren't plentiful in the game at the current moment, especially with Welt being the only imaginary unit in the game. And of course, if you're not summing for Luocha, then that's just another that's going to be unobtainable. So having Yukong as an imaginary shield shredder, or also any source of imaginary damage, is going to be good regardless. And she is a support character. So now your Bronya, your Tingyun, your Pella, your Asta, all these support characters are going to be able to mix and match onto different teams, because yes, in Memory of Chaos, you are going to need that variety in order to be able to clear it out and also beat those stages. So having Yukong is going to help in terms of building more teams, helping your teams out more, and also helping the relic strictness, I guess you could say, of building Yukong out. Because if you do have other DPSs like Celet, Jingyuan, or any other ones that you're possibly using, your crit rate, your crit damage might be not so great if you haven't been farming relics yet, and Yukong might just make it a little bit easier to do a little bit more damage. So it is nice to see that we are getting somebody who's very strong and somebody that we've needed, because not a lot of people had access to the imaginary elements. Now, I do think Yukong is going to play a really big part in the future, and this is going to be another video that we'll cover more in depth, but I do think Honkai Star Rail is trying to push us into a certain meta that a lot of people are not ready for, because I don't think anyone is ready for it, which is, I do think they're going to pull us into a mono element type style of gameplay. I do think that once certain units come out, or more units come out, because I do see them kind of doing it with Quantum already, with them having Cele or them having Silverwolf. And if you didn't know it or not, Fu Xuan is already on the wiki as Quantum for preservation, if I'm not wrong, which is absolutely insane that they're building up the Quantum element, which is already busted because of the relic set. And me seeing all of these Quantum characters that are going to be synergizing together with, you know, Cele being your hunt character, with Silverwolf being your nihility character, with Fu Xuan being preservation. Having these things in the game already, having a full team of Quantum, is showing me that we are seeing traces of other characters, or characters being built to be mono style teams. So other characters like Pella with Ice Shred, with Asta with her fire damage increase, Yukong might be something in that nature of being able to support a mono style imaginary team. So although she is going to be strong in any team, regardless, she's going to be very universal, because her buffs aren't going to be something restrictive to a certain type or a certain path. She's going to be straight attack buffing, crit rate, and crit damage boosting. And she also has a really cool overworld talent where she has super speed, and you get quick access to those stacks that you need from those buffs. So as I said before, Yukong is going to be very nasty, and I think she's going to see some crazy play for a very long time, whether it be in universal teams with, you know, not matching elements, or in the future when there's going to be more mono style type content or mono style type teams. I'm just very excited to see Yukong and what she can do. And for people that are waiting in version 1.2, I think you are going to be very lucky in that pool of group of people, because you won't have to worry about figuring out how she's going to work or how to build her, because in version 1.1 you'll have enough people summoning on Luocha, because that banner is going to be amazing. He's amazing as well, and I will be making a video for him and Silverwolf in the future, so make sure to leave a sub for that. But with Luocha's banner being so great, a lot of people are going to end up having Yukong, and with everyone having Yukong, everyone's going to figure out how to build her the right way, and you won't be wasting your resources in the wrong stuff. You'll have everything already planned out, because everyone has already planned out for you. There's a lot of things that are going to be coming in version 1.1 that are going to be very, very important, because we have 3 support style characters, with Silverwolf being a debuffer, damage mitigation, with Luocha being an amazing healer, which already the roles are already scarce, and Yukong being a supreme / premier type buffer or support character. There's just a lot this version update is going to be doing to us, especially with all the new events, with all these characters changing up how teams are, because of course everyone's relying on Natasha, Fire MC, other buffers like Asta, Tingyun, Bronya. We're just going to see a lot of change in this update for sure with version 1.1 because of Silverwolf, Luocha, and Yukong. So I'm very excited to see where this game is going to be headed in the future, with how these characters are shaping up the meta already, and shaping up the teams that are going to be needed for Memory of Chaos, because we will end up seeing how amazing Yukong is, how amazing the imaginary element is going to be, with Welt already being a sub DPS / DPS, Luocha being a healer, and Yukong being support. So at the moment, Quantum and Imaginary can really build a good amount of teams, or can be built as a team really early, and I think some other elements have the same situation as well. So we might see a monotype style meta very soon, with all these elements being flushed out, and I'm very excited to see how that goes. But other than that, that is pretty much it for the end of this video. I'm very excited to see what Yukong can do, how strong she's going to be, and of course the 5 stars as well. So make sure to leave a sub and a like if you enjoyed the video. If you watched all the way to the end, I will be making videos on Luocha and Silverwolf as well, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. See you on the next one, and peace.